Okay, here we are again. Um, so I have this listed as day 5, uh, but but it's kind of not day 5. So my first stream was on the day it started, which was the 12th, and if you count correctly, there's actually 8 days if you count the start and the end day. Of the jam because it started at 12 at noon and it ends on the 19th at noon. So there's day 5, day 6, day 7, and then Friday morning, which is day 7.5. Uh, so that's what I'm calling my streams. But it does mean I have an extra day kind of to work on stuff, which is good. But also kind of silly that I can't math good. Okay, so let me show you where we are. Let's fire this up again. So here's where we left off. And you can see, let's see, what were the last couple things we worked on? I think it was triangles. Yeah, so it was the triangles and the extra wide. Um, the this one, which is like this one is this one is kind of wide, twice as tall, twice as wide as it is tall. This one is 3 times as wide. Um, But I did a little bit more progress too. You can see there's still a lot of placeholder art here. And if you go to here, fetch, um, so first I fixed the triangles. The triangles being isosceles means they're even harder to stack because they have different heights depending on which orientation they land in, which is not the level of difficulty I'm going for. Um, I actually I implemented more than just the art. I created the actual object for the extra wide boxes. Uh, there was a bug or a weird behavior that I kind of didn't really realize. I went to some length of trouble to be like the progression happens based on how many boxes you've scored, but that doesn't make any sense. If you're looking at if you're looking at this and you have like 10 boxes over here on the left, it shouldn't be like, you're still on level 1 because you haven't placed enough of the boxes yet. That'd be kind of an interesting strat, but not really one that makes sense. So I'm saying now after a certain number of objects are placed over here, then sorry, come in over here, then they count towards your next level progression. I added some art for the crane and for the walls and platforms and for this is called this is like the loading platform and this is the stacking platform, but I'm just calling this platform and ground. I also added a couple lights that are kind of fun. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now we're caught up from yesterday's work and this morning's work. Okay, so let's give this a quick play and I'll show you what it looks like. So you'll notice that the crane, I don't know what cranes look like. I mean, I do, but not in the context of like a game. I think this looks kind of cool. There's like an apparatus up here. You'll see down in the bottom right, there's these stripies. That's the platform. Then there's these girders over here. And also, when you turn this on, you'll see now there's a little light. There's a little light on the magnet, which I think is kind of cool. I'd also like there to be like a little light that pops up when you're stuck to something, to like your magnet has acquired a target. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Um, there's also a light up here. It's the same graphic but bigger. That's actually the original size. This one's shrunk. The one on the magnet is shrunk down. But there's also like this light animation, and you see how it's spinning, and I think that's pretty neat. It wasn't rocket science, but I do kind of want to talk about some of the progress I've made on how these things were done, in case people are interested in learning. So here's one of the extra wide boxes because we're on day 2 now. That this is our 6th box. You can see here's their equilateral triangles. I'm gonna make the borders wider because it looks kind of, yeah. I also need to fix that. The triangles get a little glitchy. I actually need to like I was planning on redoing the magnet, and maybe I'll do that today. So, but first I want to talk about kind of what changed here. So first of all, the crane art, there's kind of nothing special to that. Like fighting with Z layers was a little bit annoying at first, but it's pretty much just what it looks like. Um, the light here, I think I've said this before, but anytime you are toggling between two images, if there are two separate images, that's easy. You just switch between two textures. If there are two images that are in the same sprite sheet, then even if they're not an animation, it's much easier just to create an animation. This is an animated sprite 2D. It's much easier to create an animation as a way of labeling these two frames. Because if you look at this, it's a single sprite sheet that has both images in it. So I don't know. It's fine. There's no like performance problems or anything, as far as I know. Probably doesn't need to loop, but that's fine. Something else that's kind of, well, let me talk about this one first. So, of course, you usually don't want to create an image that is exactly like this. If it's a repeating image, you don't want to create the image that has the repetition in it. You want to create just one instance of the repetition and then repeat it. Godot has good support for this. Pretty much every framework you're using is going to have good support for these repeated well, not girders, but repeated textures. Because I think it's like an OpenGL thing. It's just your graphics card and your low-level language is just kind of, I think they just have support for it. And the way you do this is you, under canvas item, which is basically any 2D thing, even like controls are also 2D, and it's kind of the parent of controls and their 2D canvas item is. So there's filter, which we talked about before, of like, this is how, you keep things from getting blurry because that looks bad in pixel art games. But repeat here is kind of the ticket. If you don't repeat, then you get this, this weird behavior here where it stretches off to infinity in conjunction with region. So region is kind of it almost makes your texture kind of like not as, like, normally when you just have a sprite, you're like, here's my image. If you search the image, then it searches the sprite. It searches what you see. Region lets you do smarter things, kind of lower level things. And here you can see how wide do you want the texture, but it says, well, hold on, your texture is this big, and your region that you're rendering into is this big. So it conveniently kind of extends past the last pixel for you. And that's, I guess, a feature. But this isn't what we want, obviously. So if we want to do repeat enabled, and that will just kind of copy it until, as much as it fits. You can see it, if you ever want to create a fence or something, this is the way you can do it. There's also mirror, and mirror is like every other image is mirrored is like horizontally mirrored from the previous one. You can't really tell because it's an X, and X's are symmetrical in all directions, but that's what it's doing. Of course, I also use if your shape is monochromatic, just make it grayscale, and then you can use modulate over here to pick what color do you want your girder to be, and this just gets you more flexibility at runtime. I thought maybe it'd be fun if the player could choose what color their layout is. So I wanted to preface that because this is kind of, there's something slightly interesting. Oh, let me turn off the stripes for a second. Um, so controls are normally like UI components. Controls are text editors and item list, labels, these things. One of them is 9-patch rect, and you may have heard of this already, but basically you can create an image and like I said, it's normally for UI components, but you create an image that is kind of a 3x3 grid, and whatever's in the top left corner is always going to be used in the top left of your shape, and whatever is in the top right is used in the top right of your shape, and so on. The thing that's kind of special about this is those corners never get stretched no matter what shape it's contorted into. Whereas the interstitial pieces, the middle piece, and um, and the side pieces, those do get stretched, and then also the center is optional in case it's just a border. But what this means is you can like see how I stretch. I think I need to do um, uh, let me see. It might be a problem that if I have the patch margin set not to the right size. But also I don't think this is right. I think this just changes the transform. No? Okay. I think I don't, I maybe have it misconfigured on that axis. But if you look here in the top left, as you move it, it doesn't get squished. You can see like the side, it stays proportional. So no matter how small it gets, your left side is not, it stays proportional. Your corner stays proportional and stuff. So I wanted this so that I could change the size of the platform here while still maintaining the pixel artiness of it. And then stripes go on top of it, and they have the same repeating texture as this other one does. So the last thing to talk about real quick is this little light up here. So this turning on or off is nothing special, but this bit is kind of interesting. There's two things that is kind of interesting about this. One is there's an animation player that runs, and it's actually running all the time. It's configured to autoplay. It runs and it loops. It's a little bit jittery because I think it's just an editor artifact, and you can just set keyframes for the rotation. I wasn't sure how it would work if you set a keyframe from 0 to pi to 2 pi, because that is like, how do you know? How does it know which way to rotate? I don't know. It just worked. So that was fine. The one thing that makes this a little bit nicer is you see how it fades out and it fades in. And in retrospect, I could have maybe handled that with the animation, but tweens are also perfectly fine for this. And here I say when it turns on, it plays that on animation, and it sets I'm calling it brightness, that kind of halo effect. I'm setting the brightness to transparent, and then making it visible, and then which I don't even know if the visible part is actually necessary. Maybe I'll remove that part because it's just transparent most of the time, which means it doesn't have to be invisible. So we modulate from transparent to white over a quarter of a second as it fades in, and as it fades out, we modulate back to transparent over half a second. So here you see it fades out. It's still spinning, you just can't see it. But it's fine. Watch in 2 seconds. See, it fades in pretty abruptly. Oh, and last little like the way this works is I have an additional shoot area here that interacts with uh, the junk mask. So anytime it sees something, it does some math to keep track of like, is this the first item? If you had two items in the chute and the first one left, you wouldn't want the light to turn off. So okay, yep. So that looks good. The one problem that I noticed earlier, I don't know if I've shown it in this video yet, is the status light is not attached to the platform. So as you go up, the light doesn't come with you. So this needs to go on, not the crane. Let's attach it to the chute. Okay, so now I need to playtest this for a minute. Just to get high enough until we cause the level to move. So I want to do a couple things today. The art is coming along. I also need sounds and stuff like that. And I also want to do I want to have like a menu screen, like the start menu, have like the words handled with care being like boxes that fall in, um, like kind of these horizontal looking boxes that have those words on them. I think that'd look cool. Kind of funny. It's gonna be a little bit weird when it says like care with handle, but when you read it top to bottom, it'll work. Okay. All right. So I think it worked. Let's kind of check one more time. So we're watching to make sure that everything moves. Yeah. So you'll see that the light is staying on the screen. Previously it was going behind the girders. So you can see like the magnet still like a glove. Nailed it. Magnet still has a little bit of work to do. I'm gonna work on that next. So let's commit this first. This is let's leave this commented code. Did I change anything with the triangle? Okay. Remove. Let's make this 2 commits. Remove unnecessary visible and toggle from status light. And I don't know what's going on here. I'll just commit it. And this one is reparent status light to parent shoot light to shoot. Okay. Push. So you can play. I mean, it's in the link should be in the YouTube description. As soon as I push it, within 2 minutes, you can go on itch and play it. Okay. So the way the crane works right now is kind of, or like the magnet is kind of special. So there's the magnet is itself a rigid body. And it has a left. I mean, let me just change the colors on these. Let's do the same color for all of them. That makes sense. So here's where the magnet is. It doesn't do anything besides bump into things. This is just, and the purpose of this is if you bump something with the top of the magnet, it shouldn't stick to the magnet. That would be silly. Because this is the sticky bit, which is this glue right here. Let's say it's green. So this green part here is it's the sticky bit. It's the part that when the if you touch the magnet, then it causes the object to adhere to it. The way this works, I'm kind of surprised they still don't have a magnet script. It's all in the crane. The way this works is it counts the number of contacts that that the object has um, with the magnet, and if that number of contacts is, let's see, well, it doesn't exactly count it. If it, as it detects one, the first time there's a contact, it adds it to a list. And then the next time there's a contact, it says, is it already in the list or not? So it's not keeping track of the number of contacts exactly. It's kind of doing that fake math. And then this part down here, this is the gravity zone. This is what kind of vacuum, it has a space, it's like a point gravity source, and it's pulling things in. I don't know exactly what the point center is. Like it's the offset from something of where gravity is being pulled to. I think it's 10 pixels above the center. I think this is the way it seems to be working. Anyway, so that part is fine. It's just this part in the middle. Sometimes I don't know if the object clips through the sticky bit and causes multiple collisions or multiple contacts, because you saw with the triangle thing earlier where I fired off into space. So I'm gonna try doing. I'm gonna delete this. Oh, well, last funny thing. If you have a rigid body that's parent is another rigid body, it doesn't like that. They simulate independently, and so it makes for, like, you would expect one thing to be parented to the other for it to be for it to like not move or something. I also tried having the sticky bit be like a character, but characters they don't trigger contacts in the way you want because they assume you're moving and sliding them. Anyway, so these little pluses over here, these are pin joints. And a pin joint is just saying, like, it's like driving a pin through these things and they can rotate independently. But because there's two pin joints, they like mathematically can't move. And I suspect this kind of goofy physics means like it just causes problems. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove the sticky bit and those things. Just get rid of all that stuff. So what I'm thinking of doing is having like little probes across the surface here. Very short probes, little like cilia almost, little gecko detection, little checks here that say, like, if there's objects touching here, then if it's touching in multiple spots, and consider it as touching the entire surface. So like, you imagine it's being pulled up here, and if there's if it's touching multiple spots, then it's glued on. I don't know if it's gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be close enough. I think I can also delete these because these were just to protect the sticky bit that is no longer there. So let's move this here. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but this is why we have git commits. I'm just going to move this down a little bit. If we want to, we can add another kind of polygon on top. So here we have the magnet. This actually just hits things, but now we can't stick to things anymore. So there's a couple different ways we could do this. I could have a bunch of little areas and check to see if there are things in those areas. There's another thing you can do that I think will be more interesting, which is you can do raycasts. And I always thought this was kind of weird. This is kind of like a weird Godot thing, in my opinion, that you can do a raycast as a node. Like, well, I always think of raycast as being something you do in code. you have some code and you check to see am I hitting something or not. But you can actually do it in, as a node and then just check it constantly. So here we're going to say this makes it collide only with junk. And I don't know if I want to call it sticky probe. Let's call it junk probe. Let's call it junk probe 1. There's just going to be a bunch of them. So it's on. We want to ensure it doesn't. Well, I mean, I don't want it to collide with this, but it's not going to because the collision mask is there. And same thing for hit from inside. Like it can't, both of these features like don't really matter. I don't know if it's like one's more performant or what. Bodies, I think we only want rigid bodies. So this is what we want. And we want the target position to be much shorter. So remember, it's just going to do like a little bitty raycast to be because we want to see like essentially is it touching the top surface, but we don't really. We're not gonna directly check for that. We also like not just is it touching the surface, but is it like parallel to the surface? And that's kind of a tricky thing to tell. Because even the previous one had some like even though it was supposed to be multiple contacts, you could still see it got stuck in weird angles sometimes. So here it doesn't really like being drawn this small. Let's try 2 pixels for initially, just so we can kind of like see it work. And I'm gonna do these fairly far apart because I want to like make sure it works first. So I can do this here. What's the position here? The first one is position -63. So it's like 120. It's like 128 wide minus a pixel on either side. So if we're doing quarters, then it should be -63 plus 32. Okay. And then we're going to copy it and plus 32. Not centered, kind of upsetting. We'll see how it goes. Plus 32. And I hope this last one makes some sense and doesn't go off the edge. Okay, that is not what I wanted. Let's try moving. Okay, so this is -63. So instead of 32, let's try 31. -63 plus 31. So this one is going to be -63 plus 31 times 2. Still not centered. Times 3. And times 4. Okay, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Let's not worry about it. Okay, so again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say if 2 junk probes are touching the same junk bit, then we trigger it. Then we mark it as having a collision. So here we have this whole thing. It's all like magnet direct state. It's gonna be that sticky bit. Okay, I need to figure out what things I'm actually using here. So contacts, we're not using anymore, obviously. But we're kind of using contacts. And I mean, we aren't using the sticky bit obviously anymore. But here we're saying like we can have contacts, they're just triggered in a different way. Like if this, and this, if the left 3 are activated, have a raycast detected, then those are our contacts. So I could probably like iterate over junk probes in like maybe a more sane way. I'm just going to create an export var. export var chunk probes is an array of raycast 2D. So now what I'm going to say is for probe in chunk probes, probe dot is colliding. I think I need to check this every frame and not do this in an evented kind of way. Let me check this. Let me see if the raycast has anything that's like any signals. It does not look like it. I mean that kind of makes sense because it's not a physics object. It's not a it's not like an area. But it does calculate every physics frame, which is always like one of the reasons, like, look, it's always on, even if you don't need it that frame, which I always thought was kind of silly. But maybe it's kind of more efficient in that all the recasts can be done in parallel. I don't know. Okay, so we're not going to do it like this. We're going to say we're doing it like this. Let's see. We have contacts. We're going to get rid of contacts. Just getting rid of magnet direct state because that doesn't really exist anymore. But it's good because now it warns us what doesn't exist anymore. So here we have var contacts equals 0. If the probe is colliding, contacts plus equal to 1. And I think like this code isn't expensive. The thing that's more expensive is that the probes are actually probing every physics tick 60 times per second. They're checking to see if there's something there. So here we're iterating over contacts, and I think what we're going to do is not do that. We're iterating over the probes. I don't even know if we, I guess we kind of need this. So what we can say is if contacts is greater than 1, then for probes and for probe and junk probes, we're iterating over here. And we want, and the object is going to be the thing we're colliding with. That's like some of these things don't change very much, which is nice. Probe dot get collider. Get collider object. I think this is what we want. Get collider. Return the first object that the ray intersects or null if no object is intersecting the ray. Here we can just say Oop, that is not the right button. Here we can say if not obj is physics body 2D or it's not junk, that's still true. I have a lot of debug stuff in here. I might need it in a second, so I'll leave it there. So this could be null. And if it's null, then it will not be a physics body 2D, and we can skip it. And we're doing the same thing here where if the collisions list already has it, then that means it's being connected on another point. So again, like if I wanted to like change this to say, okay, you have to be touching 3 different points for it to connect, then I'd have to kind of reorganize this to be like essentially like a dictionary of, or a map from which object has how many counts associated with it. But I don't think that's necessary. So there's no other errors, so we're going to see if this works. Oh, okay. Let's look at the errors first. No not found sticky bit. Okay. This is in the crane code. Okay. What was using it? Line 84. Oh, okay. We don't need exclusions anymore. And that's just exclusions again. Okay. So there's no errors now yet. Small box first. See how the challenge goes. Um. So yeah, so it's not working. It's getting pretty crazy. Um, this is because it's pushing into the it, it's not getting frozen. And there should be I used to have a comment in here that says print or like fusing or something. So let's like make sure that this is what's not what's happening. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you don't fuse it. It gets very wibbly wobbly. So let's see. Debugging is fun. So contact. So I should be able to set a breakpoint here, and as soon as it's supposed to stick, it should break there. Okay, so it's not even doing that much. Oh, I'm stupid. Okay. Of course, we need to actually assign the junk probes. I thought about doing this a different way, and then I didn't, and I forgot I needed to do this. I think I can do this. No. In Unity, there's a way you can like freeze a panel. And then like drag things to it. You might be able to like duplicate the inspector, but you can also just like, nope. Please let me, no, okay. All right, I'll do this the hard way. This is not actually that hard. I just probably spent more time talking about it than actually doing it. Classic. Okay. Yeah, this goes. Okay, breakpoint was hit. This might just work, so let me kind of step over this real quick. So object here is null. Understandable. Object here is null. Okay, here's one. Object is there. And if collisions has object, it doesn't. So let's check to see if the next one, object is also here. Collisions has objects, and it's not fused, and now we're going to freeze it. Okay, great. That's pretty good. I was hoping it wouldn't be clipped into the object like that, into the magnet. It gets a little wobbly, but oh, but recovers. Let me just keep playing a little bit. I still need to fix this chain at some point. These like double links here. I'm not. It like it looks okay, but once you know you're looking for it, then it's more apparent. Okay. We should be getting triangles soon. I could also make this platform narrower, but I kind of like the strategy of like, well, what if you don't want to do that? What if you want to have like an extra wide base? Okay. Here we have triangle. Hey, that looked pretty good. Um, fused triangle. Oh, okay. All right. I think that's doing what we want. And drop. I really don't like having that tiny piece at the bottom, but what can I do? Oh. Okay, I need to test triangles more. Why? So there. Okay. I'm still gonna save this because I think this is progress. But triangles are still a pain because they're not the other they're not the same shape type. They're not they're collision polygons. And why is this being such a pain? Okay, let me try let me save this first. Switch magnet over to raycast 2Ds. Raycast 2D array. Okay. All right. I'm not 100% sold on that, but good start. So the first thing I need to do is look at level 1 and throw a bunch of triangles in here. I'm not going to save this, but just triangles. Well, at least it's consistent. Okay, I mean, so the first question is, can I use a regular? I don't know for sure this is because it's a polygon. Um, but if we could do something else instead. I know it's complaining if I do this, but what if I did this anyway? Okay, so I'm going to delete that. They also like, so these things have custom weights to them. So, well, okay, you're 1 kilogram, you're 1 kilogram. Okay. I will say this thing is small enough and fidgety enough that I'm going to change the solver to normally this is for like if you have a bullet, sometimes the bullet can like travel through the wall. I think it's called like physics, it's like some kind of physics penetration. But you can do cast ray instead. Let me see if that helps me. My goal is to get through 5 without it blitzing off into infinity. That one didn't fuse correctly. But that's just, I kind of just need more probes because these are kind of small. Okay, that didn't work. The thing is, it's not even getting to the point where it fuses. It's just glitching like crazy. And there's another idea I have about that. So the crane magnet is, well, first, this is actually 1 kilogram. It's not like density. The magnet here, the gravity zone is very, very high. It's 4,000 pixels per second squared. And like the normal, I guess it goes up to that high normally. And this, I set it this high because you need like it has like a fairly short triangles, man. It has like a fairly short range to it. And that's even with this. So I'm wondering I can I change this to, 1000? Let me first of all, let me just try like point center to -10. See if that helps any. Um the there's also like there's a bunch of values here that I don't 100% get, but this one, what this is saying is the point center is like, okay, here's your box. This is your, if you're in here, you're affected by gravity. If you have point selected, then you're being pulled towards a particular point. So depending on which side you're on, you're either pulled up towards the middle or, it's like kind of like Super Mario Galaxy uh, stuff where you're in the sphere of influence, but you're still being pulled towards a different direction depending on where you are in there. So the point center should, I think I saw the bug where someone was going to create a gizmo for this. So the point center is like where you're being pulled towards. The point unit distance means that's like where the surface of, if you imagine you're on a planet, these little 3D planets, this is where that gravity is 4,000. So if you're further away from this, then gravity is going to be exponentially less. If you're closer than this, it's going to be exponentially closer. If if you don't have a planet surface, like this doesn't make as much sense because you can trivially go through it. And I think what's happening is the gravity is getting very powerful, very close here. And I kind of wish there was like a way to set like a maximum pull. And it might just be, I don't know, I just need to fiddle with these a bit. And so far it's been working. But maybe I need to increase the gravity or increase the mass of the triangles. We'll see. So the other thing is like, so here's the center. How big is this collision shape? The collision shape is 48 pixels tall. And we want the center to be at the top. So that's 0, -24, because positive is lower. Let's try -24 to at least set this to the right point. And then we want to say the distance, the point unit distance is, like, let's just say it's just for my like sanity's sake, let's say it's the height of the shape here. The shape is again 48 pixels. So it's basically saying the center of this planet is here, and the surface of the planet is here at the bottom edge. And of course it's circular, but it's fine. So let's see what happens. Okay, that seemed pretty tame. I didn't really change very much. If I can get through 5 of these, that would be great. It's still not fusing. But you can see like it's not touching. I mean, it's also not a problem, but I really want it to like fuse because otherwise it's going to be glitchy at some point. Unless I didn't have to, in which case that'd be ideal. But can I like bump this? No, does it just, oh, okay. Totally on purpose. That works. It's funny, it really seems kind of like a lower gravity now. Oh, now that I'm on the next level, I'm getting other shapes here, which is actually what I wanted. Well, it's not sticking perfectly, but at least it's not moving. Also, this is going to be impossible to stack. I'm just kind of messing around with it. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Like, why is there a gap here? It feels like much less. Well, okay, so it's working. I don't I'm still not exactly sure like which direction this is supposed to go because I can't see the damn thing. Okay, so that is not the right setting. It's like hitting escape velocity. Um, so previously this was positive 10. What if I mean, what if I did negative 10? I kind of hate how much this is just straight up. It's not even like 3,000 versus 4,000 to run like the gravity. It's just like straight up random trial and error. All right. Okay. So I think negative 24 was pretty good. I'm going to reduce the point unit distance, and this effectively kind of increases. No, I want to increase this. So now the surface is here. That's where 4,000 pixels per second squared is going to be. As you get closer, the gravity gets stronger. Um, okay. By the way, like all the heights in your game are going to be roughly powers of 2, except uh, except for the triangles because they're the box that they fit in is 64 pixels tall, but the sides are all 55 long. I don't know why is it clipping through? It shouldn't be able to like shouldn't what if I just try if I don't turn on the magnet, can it still clip through? No? Okay. Uh okay. It's doing the slidey thing. I really don't know why. Is it not tagged as junk correctly? Hmm. So something else that was a problem before is you could really like kind of glitch by hitting things. You could kind of overpower them into. This is actually like it used to like vibrate a lot and be generally. It's got teeth. Oh, okay. Well, it was a good run. Okay, this is a different feel, but I think it's fine. Um, I don't know if we need this anymore. Uh, hey Jared, is the game jam available to the public or is it a closed group of friends? Um, it's not public, unfortunately. It's I work at Amazon and we have a little like game dev interest channel, and this is just between those folks. Um, but there's plenty of other game jams. I I just thought this would be cool just because it's like people that I kind of know and I can kind of talk with in other channels. Um, yeah, it's in a couple. It's over on Friday. Um, I don't know. It's not secret. I mean, obviously I'm like streaming about it, but I guess we're not supposed to share the. It's on itch, but I don't know. It's like it's a private game jam. Very exclusive. No, I don't know. It is what it is. Uh yeah. Yeah, it's very like unofficial. It's just like people who work at a giant corporation but still want to have fun once in a while. But I think there's like 3 teams participating. It's not very big. Yeah, yeah. I was like, some people are like, they're packages. Of course they have the Amazon logo. I'm like, yeah, that's the only reason. Um, I it's on brand, I guess. I'm trying to also be like a little, I don't know, a little edgy a little bit. Like the name of the game is going to be called Handle with Care. Uh, and obviously these boxes are not being handled with care. And I also want to make. Do you remember like the beginning of um, uh, like Ace Ventura when he's like drop kicking that package around and is just making like horrible glass sounds? Um, yeah. I kind of want to have it like every time a package drops, like it like makes like a crashing sound. I think that'd be kind of funny. Okay, so one thing that's supposed to be working is it's like it's supposed to stick a little bit better here. Like there's a feature here where it's supposed to fuse when it triggers enough when it hits like these little hidden raycasts. But yeah, I want to have like glass breaking or plates or pottery and just very like I hope it doesn't get annoying. But if you go like this and you just like drop a package from or like when the package drops in from high altitude over here, um, uh, it'd be funny if it just you know things shatter. Okay, enough of that. Triangles are a little tricky. They're actually like they're in kind of the second wave of packages that you have to deal with because like the first layer I was just testing triangles, but normally level one is like regular boxes, like regular squares because squares are easy to stack, and then later on you get triangles, and triangles are like you can't balance things on top of triangles. So you have to like put triangles next to each other and strategize a little bit. So I want to make sure the raycast here is working. Um, Hi Esther. Um, let's see. So it's still something happened. It's not working at all anymore. Which interestingly is like not it's not bugging too terribly. Oh, this is what I meant. Like for some reason like everything above has like infinite weight or something, and it just like crushes things. And I mean obviously I lost, but um it's not supposed to be like that. I mean it could be because the chain links have there's like the chain links have a weight of 10. So maybe it's because there's all that stuff. That would make sense. Jared says, "Is it a force-based approach that only triggers if the raycast comes in distance?" Um, we will, yeah, I can show it. Like the way I was doing this before was I had two rigid bodies bolted together. The one and the rigid body on the bottom was like the kind of the magnet surface, and then you were checking for contacts with that magnet surface. But um, it was causing some problems where the triangle would like teleport off into infinity when it collided, uh, and so that was problematic. And I thought it was because of this surface. So you can see what we're doing now is you've got these. I'm calling them junk probes. These are tiny little raycasts here, and they're all they aren't very close together because I was lazy. I was just kind of testing, but it's possible that the triangles are not easily able to hit both of them, but the other shapes should be able to hit both of them, like the big rectangles here. Yeah, it's basically like I want something to happen when the two surfaces are parallel to each other. And there's not really, and the way I was doing that before is like, well, usually when you have two contacts, and I think you can like, I don't know, maybe like mathematically you can only ever have two contacts unless it's like a sawtooth surface. But then even then, like, well, one is going to be like infinitesimally, like a billionth of a meter different or something. And so you can actually technically only have two contacts, um, unless things are like bending. But it's not. Uh, I don't know. This was working a bit ago and then stopped working. But I'm gonna stash these changes because I think the problem wasn't the surface. I think the problem was the gravity. It's the gravity zone here. I'm gonna take a screenshot. Is these settings seem to work pretty well. So I'm gonna try stashing my changes. Shelving. I'm gonna do the terminal. Git stash junk probes. Okay, so now that is gone. So this is how it was working before. I said page reload. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I already checked. I already did that. Let's try reverting this. Oh, don't be like that. Vim is fine. I just oh, it actually worked. It conflicts with the the IntelliJ terminal. Okay, so now it's reverted. So now, okay, so this was kind of janky before, and the way this was working is there was a magnet here, and there was, you know, I missed the colors. I had the colors set up in the previous commit. There's a sticky bit here that is kind of bolted on using pin joints. And, the sticky bit is this small rectangle in the middle, and then the magnet is everything around it. There's these three shapes around it. So like here is like the magnet, which doesn't do anything. It just kind of keeps things from sticking to the sticky bit from like the top. And then on this one, this green one is where the actual magnet action happens. So let's try mimicking what we had before for this thing. So this is what I think is working. So the point unit distance there, but I think the only thing that changed was the point center. And I think maybe what's happening is the point center was actually like here, and then it was somehow like gravity slingshotting into oblivion. So I also need to put the triangles back in for now. Actually, I don't want to like destructively modify this thing here, so I can say is level triangles. And then if I put this one first, and I reduce the package threshold to 0, and I delete everything except the triangle, now, as long as I can just you can either delete it or I can like move it somewhere else in the tree, in the scene tree. So let's try this. That did not work the way I was expecting. Oh, I talked about this in yesterday's video. So this level of triangles here says it has a package threshold of 0, but level 1 also has a package threshold of 0, and it doesn't break here. It scans through spawner groups until it actually finds the last spawner group that exceeds threshold and not the first spawner group, which is well, it's just confusing. I could also move level triangles to be the end instead of the beginning, but that would confuse me at some point. Okay. Please, I want to stop messing with triangles. Okay. Working. We're going for 5 triangles here. 5 triangles without launching the triangle into deep space on accident. Okay, see, it still clips, but You know what? It's game jam. It's fine. I have to work on the background and stuff, and background and sounds and proper level progression. It is weird. I do have an idea for that. I can turn that continuous collision detection thing back on again. Um, okay. All right. One more. One more without being weird. Okay. It's fixed. See, you can also do 3 and stack them that way. So I'm going to do one thing real quick. I'm going to see if changing this triangle to cast shape fixes that object penetration stuff. Makes the triangle not go into the magnet at all. It does say cast shape is expensive, but it's a polygon with 3 sides. It shouldn't be that expensive. Okay. It looks like it's overlapping by like a couple pixels, but it's just like the dark part. That's not too bad. Yeah, that's a little bit better. See, this is why this is why I was originally doing that shapecast stuff, but it's fine. The raycast switch, but most of the time it doesn't do that. Okay, one more, and then we'll call it. I mean, that's a little bit more than I would like, but also, like I said, I mean, this is fine. Like, is there a reason it's colliding with junk, and it's on layer 1, and the boxes are junk, and they collide with the crane and other junk. So there's no reason. I mean, other than the fact that this is really thin. Maybe if I do cast shape on both sides. I know I said I'd stop looking at this, but it's just bothering. Hey, this doesn't count. That's not what I'm testing right now. Okay. Okay. Whatever, man. Oh, okay, fail. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of all these triangles first. Get rid of die. And we're gonna call that fixed. Fix gravity zone on magnet. Oh, this is really interesting. Subscribe. I like your explanation style. Thank you, Jared. I pride myself on that. I hope this was useful and it's encouraging. I haven't done like live streams like this for a while, or even a lot of that many videos, but I'd like to do more. Fix gravity zone. Oh, I do have to go, so good luck with the project and have a great day. Thank you. You also have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Fix gravity zone on magnet to fix small glitchy triangles. Okay. All right. Well, ripperoni that. Okay, what else are we working on? I want to do one cool thing. Okay, well there's 2 things. There's 2 things I want to do. One is the way days work is there's like level 1 and level 2, and it's based on the number of packages here. That's so this is the spawner. The spawner here is it generates packages, or junk, whatever you want to call it, stuff, every 15 seconds. And you just have these children nodes that don't really do anything. They're just kind of data nodes. They say like size 4, package threshold this, and this is like after it's generated 5 packages, it switches to this level, or this or bit, or like this, yeah, this level. But when you lose, you get the end. Where's the end screen? Where's the end screen? It's probably right in front of me. Oh, it's this thing. Okay, so the canvas layer is where all the 2D stuff, like all the UI stuff is. The margin container is the actual gameplay stuff, and then the end game screen is this when you fail. The days since last accident. The theme of this is days since last accident, so it had to be in here somewhere. This counter though is simply the maximum height you've reached divided by 100. So if you've reached 550, then you're gonna stay 5. I don't want. There can be like different ways you can measure success, as a player, and I think the height that's a good one. But I think the theme is I want it to be how many days you've survived, and I think days should be based on the number of packages that have been generated. So, like, it doesn't matter from my perspective as a developer. It doesn't matter if you reached, 800 pixels, 800 pixels high on your tower. It's more like I sent you 30 packages. Were you able to deal with them without losing? And if you want to put all the, I mean, if you want to put all the packages on the left side, could I even allow that? I think I should maybe like have a ceiling over here. Well, eventually they'll get stuck in the chute. Yeah, okay, so that's what'll happen. Eventually they'll get stuck in the chute, and then they'll kind of go off the back. Like they'll get stuck up here. If you just kind of try to stonewall here, they'd go off the back, and then they fall into the doom zone back here, and then you'd lose. So it's really how many packages can you survive? And I think I want to say each 10 packages is like a new day. So what I want to do is instead of just here's how many packages, here's how many packages have been generated, which directly determines how many, what the days is here. I'm gonna have a separate days manager that keeps track of all this stuff. Okay, that's a bit confusing, but it's basically like I want a day event and not like a package event. So I have a day manager that kind of converts from one to the other, and then that will eventually make sense. And then after that, I wanted to have a little zoosh onto the screen that says like what day it is. When you advance to the next day. Okay, day manager. I just unique name all these globals by default now. Scripts, day manager, and this will subscribe to the spawner. So the spawner is here. So there's a spawn timer. Where's the spawn timer? So the spawn timer says every 15 seconds, trigger something. And let's see, I thought like the number, like there's the packages scored. Something updates this. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place right now. Oh, is this never updated? Oh no, that's not right. It's right. Oh, it's not. Okay, it's not using the percent. That's why I was having trouble with it. Um, so this is packages scored though. Okay, so we're not tracking packages placed anywhere or generated. So that's why this doesn't have a, the infrastructure yet. Okay, so let's do that. So again, the goal is every time it spawns, it updates a counter and it emits an event. And you can see we already have package spawned here, but we're not we don't have an event for this yet. I think this will come in handy. I'm not 100% sure. Package spawned. I think I do this as a pattern in some other places. So that's how many packages have been spawned so far. And here you can say emit signal. Package spawned. I don't know if it's clever or confusing that the variable and the signal are like one letter apart. Probably, at least if it's short enough, I think it's okay. Package spawned. So we're emitting a signal called package spawned with the value of how many packages have been spawned so far, and we're doing this after we're incrementing the counter, which means it'll have the correct value. So the day manager is here, and we want to subscribe it to that. And you can use the event system. I don't know why. The event system here to like create a custom thing for the spawner. Like I could go through here, but like I said in yesterday or a couple days ago video, the spawner shouldn't know about things that are subscribed to it. I think that's kind of an anti-pattern. It's kind of the like model view controller paradigm almost. So what I'd rather do is have the spawner here and wired in programmatically. So this does the exact, like functionally, this does the exact same thing. Self package spawned, func package spawned count int, and we can say like the calculated day is, oh, okay, let's, is like count divided by 10. So it's like day 0, day 1, or like when count is between 0 and 9, it'll be, this is an int, right? Integer math. But I don't want to do 10. I don't want to hard code it. I want to make it a variable. Export var packages per day. And because I always forget, I'm going to set it to like 10. I'm going to set it to 10. I tend to like forget to set, I create the export and I forget to set it. And then it'll be divided by 0. So at least it would fill pretty quickly. Packages per day. So here's how this is going to work. We have a current day, which is, well, I can just say this, which is 0. And we have a calculated day. So we're going to say if current day not equal to calculated day, then we emit a signal. New day, day int. I'm also going to say days start at 0. I could say days start at 1, but the current day really should be 0. Otherwise I need to like do +1 math in multiple places in this file. I'm just gonna say days start at 0. versus 1. Current day not equal to calculated day. Emit signal new day. Calculated day. And I'm also going to always set current day. Well, I guess I can do it in here. Current day equals calculated day. I'm just gonna rearrange this a little bit. It's nice to like emit the current state and not like some other this value, even though it's like gonna be equivalent. So here we trigger a new day on each of these things on potentially each time a package is spawned. I want to also do that on the first day. I want to do that here because when you first start, I want to say like day one, when the game starts right at the beginning. So I guess we can actually say current day here. Okay, so now day manager exists and it has day 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, day 0, day 1. Okay, I wanted to do the visualization, but first I should really change spawner here to be which day things are. Instead of package threshold, it should be based on day. And besides that, I can just say days. This one is day the first day, and this one's the second day. I don't need thresholds here. It can just be kind of like child order. So I'm gonna get rid of these. I guess I only need to do it once. But there's no values over here anymore. So what the spawner will do now, this is going to be kind of confusing because they're going to refer to each other. I hope that's okay. But the day manager, oh, I don't want both. Come on, day manager. Please let me select. Okay, it's being a pain. On ready, var day manager equal colon equals day manager. So let me do that. Okay, so here I'm gonna say the other things like it might not exist because this is in the onReady function. This might not exist yet, but that's fine. I'm gonna say the current group. The current group right now is based on the number of packages spawned or generated, but that's not really necessary anymore. I can just say current spawner group equals get child because it takes an index. And here the index is always going to be day manager dot current day, because you start out because the current day starts out at 0, and after you do 10 packages, then it goes to 1. And this does have a slight problem where if you get to like day, if you do too many days, it will like throw an index out of bounds exception. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be the min of day manager dot current day and the number of children. Get child count -1 because it's the index, and so this is famous. Wait, what is this thing bugging about? I should know. I should be able to figure this out. The famous off by 1 bugs. So it's either 0 or 1 because that's the only 2 children we have. And the child count is 2. So then the highest index we can go is 1. So now we just need to use it. And there we go. So level 1 is those boxes. And level 2 is those boxes, but also the wide box and the triangle box. So I'm going to change the day manager to change this down to like 2. So we can see, first of all, make sure there's no errors. Okay, hold on a second. And then like once we get to like 3 or 4, it should be on to the next day. As long as it's function connect. Pack. Oh, it's package spawned. Package spawned. Dynamic languages, am I right? Oh, I also need to turn off like panic. I've already lost. It's very confusing. I keep collapsing this top bit. I should just leave that open. Okay. So package 0. Whoosh. Another like nitpicky thing I want to do is, you know how it gets like more precise the smaller the numbers get, but when it's an integer number, then you lose some of those decimal places. So I need to do like some kind of format string to make sure, like it never says just 8 or 9. It should always say like 8.0. See, why does it clip so much? Tell me that. So we're not seeing any of the other packages yet. But that's fine. I think it's just bad luck. Come on, triangle. No. Rejected. I could also have like done a print statement for this, but this is more fun. I'm doing science. I just have to not lose before. Okay, this is kind of suspicious. I'm also getting no small ones. Okay, let's just cheat. Um uh Spawner package spawned. Let's see. Print package spawned. I'm just gonna print this. Calculated day. Calculated day. Where's a small box? I haven't gotten one of those in a while. So I know I set it to 10 here, but because the value actually here is actually 2. Well, it says calculated day 1. Wait, did I do something stupid? Update current group. I mean, let's see what happens. Like it seems like the spawner group is not getting updated correctly. IDX is 1. So we're calling get child 1. What is the instance here? Like it's gonna be useless. Well, it seems like it should be working. Yeah, let's kind of make this more. And the script is on the spawner. Get child should work. What do we make these other ones? So I'm gonna take out the big box and the flat box. Okay, I don't need that breakpoint right now. But I do want the print messages. Okay. Let's decrease. I'm spending a lot of time waiting. Let's decrease this timer to 5 seconds. Okay, so the rest of these should be... Okay, so that's the wide box. And there's the triangle. I didn't change anything. It's just bad luck. That was really weird. Okay, well, let's go ahead and throw those those two elements back in here. The big box and the flat box. I think I'm gonna call that. Okay. That looks good. So the thing I'm gonna work on next, um, off there's so many things, there's so many like polished things I could be doing. I do want to say like, you know, day like each time you progress to another day, I want to say like what day you're on, and then that also needs to show up properly in the end screen, the screen. Jason's last accident. First of all, it should always be one because I don't want to worry that special case of it not being like 0x0. Um, and okay, I think I'll start on that next. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. This is a Tuesday when I'm recording this, and that means there's a Wednesday evening Pacific time, Thursday evening, and then a quick one Friday morning before work, when I'm like, I'll kind of just like put on finishing touches and be like uploading it, which will be fun. I guess it's already uploaded, but I'm gonna like re-upload it to, I can mark it as kind of public, add it to the index so people can actually find it. Alrighty, see you later.